Secretary, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, Dr. TCA Anandji. He will brief you in detail on the subject. I extend a warm welcome to you, sir. Also on the dais are Director General Economic Statistics, Central Statistical Office, Shri Rajiv Lochanji, Additional Director General National Accounts Division, Shri MES Ranganandam. My warm welcome to both of them. Friends, after the opening remarks of the Secretary, we'll take some questions. As usual, please raise your placards. I'll call one by one. And also, please follow the points of order. A gentle request to keep your mobile phones on a switch off or silent mode. And one more request, there will be no one-to-one interviews after the press conference. Whatever questions you have, you can ask here itself. And over to the Secretary, please.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming. We have already released the press release pertaining to our GDP second quarter estimates. I will I won't go over all the elements in the release and so on. I'll leave that for you for questions and so on. I'll just highlight a few major points about the estimate. I'll also point out some technical issues which came up in deriving this estimate and how we've approached them. The details are there in the press note, but I'll just briefly touch upon them, and I can elaborate more if in response to questions. Briefly, the GDP figure for Q2 in constant prices comes in at 6.3% as compared to 7.5% last year. But what is a salient characteristic of this number is that after almost 5 quarters of declining GDP, we see a reversal in trend in that the estimate last quarter of 5.7% is led to a higher number this time of 6.3%. We've been seeing declining numbers from the end of fourth quarter 15-16. Thereafter, every quarter, the number has been subsequently declining. So in that sense, this marks a reversal in direction, and it is very encouraging. Behind this change are good growth figures in manufacturing, which has reported a growth of 7%. Electricity, gas, water supply, which has shown a growth of 7.6%. The other sector which has done well is trade, hotels, transport, communication, etc., which grew at 9.9%, and so on. These were the sectors which have by and large done well. I do want to emphasize a few sectors which have done a little worse than before, specifically agriculture, which has come in at 1.7%. The performance in agriculture has been held up by the non-crop segments of agriculture. Crop production has actually done relatively poorly, and this was revealed in the first advance estimates released by Ministry of Agriculture in the month of September. Principally, this is because last year was a very good agricultural year on account of a very good monsoon coming on top of 2 consecutive years of droughts. This year's production is much better than the 5-year average, but compared to last year is not so good, and that shows up in the growth rate. So that's my first general point about this. A second issue which I wanted to flag, many of you have raised this in your discussion. These related to the implications of introduction of GST in our GDP calculation, and I'll briefly talk about that before opening the floor for questions. In computation of GDP, we calculate GVA sectorally from various indicators which are outlined in our methodology document. Then there is an addition of net indirect taxes, which is indirect taxes less subsidies, to convert GVA to GDP at market prices. Now, the indirect tax regime having been changed, and a very large part of central and state indirect taxes having been shifted to GST introduced a certain measure of a statistical challenge for us for the following reason. In a normal year, businesses are quite conversant with their tax structure, liabilities, and so on. Therefore, even though government does tax collection on and presents its accounts on cash basis, there is a considerable measure of stability in the tax collection during a period because most businesses know what their liabilities are going to be and pay in time. So the collections, in fact, reflect what is actually collected during a quarter. Here, because of the introduction of GST, there is a measure of uncertainty being faced by a number of businesses in computing their tax liability. This has meant that the tax payments due in a particular period were not being paid on time, and government, recognizing this, had also given a considerable measure of latitude to businesses to file late, and the process meant that tax data for the relevant period is being updated even today. It's not that the tax collection for July to September can be stated to be complete. This created a challenge for us, but we looked at the data and the numbers which came and decided to stay with our practice of measuring it on cash basis. That is, we took the data as it had come to the point of compilation and the collections reported until then, and use that as a basis to compute net indirect taxes. This is particularly relevant for tax collection on nominal basis. In constant prices, there is a method of estimating indirect taxes on constant prices, which is less sensitive to this effort. But as a consequence, it is likely that when the revised estimates are prepared, indirect tax collections for this period may actually be higher than what we have reported. So that's something which you may wish to keep in mind when you are interpreting these numbers. The second area where we faced a measure of uncertainty was that we used to derive an indicator for trade volume from the sales tax collection. Now, sales tax has also been subsumed into GST. This created a logistical problem for us as to how do we estimate the indicator for projecting retail trade. We had extensive discussions with our technical advisors, which is the National Income Advisory Committee and other people, and we looked at a number of possible ways by which this could be estimated. One possibility was that there are some taxes which are outside the GST net, some products which are outside the GST net, principally petroleum products and alcohol and so on. We looked at the relationship between sales taxes on those goods and overall sales tax collection. We found that there is considerable stability in that relationship, and we could estimate, one way of estimating overall sales tax collection would have been to project on the basis of the taxes collected on these products. A second possibility was to relate sales tax collection to the production of commodity producing sectors which are subject to tax. We estimated a relationship from 2011-12 onwards and made a projection of what the sales tax collection would be on that basis. We also did a simple projection of the output of commodity producing sectors leading to a sales tax collection. The three numbers were reasonably close, and then the advice of the advisory committee was that we could in fact take an average of them. Now, again, this method of estimation, along with my earlier caveat on tax collection, suggests that there may be a possibility that when the final revised estimates are available, we may actually find that we have possibly underestimated the sales tax collection and therefore GVA on account of trade. I'm pointing these out as necessary caveats in interpreting the result. We don't expect this issue on sales tax to be an issue which will persist for very much longer, because eventually when full GST data becomes available, in fact tax collection data will be possible to classify by HSN code and service activity codes, it would be in principle possible to assess how much of the GST is attributable to the erstwhile sales tax, and we would be in a position to make the necessary adjustment. So this is likely to be a temporary phase, but we will monitor implementation of GST in our compilations in at least the third and fourth quarter estimates as we go ahead to see whether we would need to continue this method for at least some more time and keep reporting to you accordingly. These are my brief technical observations on the estimates. I will be happy to respond to questions.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll take some questions. Let's start with Sapna. Yeah, first one.
Sapna from CNBC TV 18. So you have mentioned very clearly that at the time of the final revised estimates, the GVA may be higher because of this GST impact. You'll be better prepared at that point in time and probably working out your methodology further. So in terms of the Q2 number as of now, I mean, how much of a bump up can we expect on that? That's one, sir. That's one. I mean, you're free to answer the way you want to answer. Also, 6.3 very clearly, sorry, 6.3 very clearly indicates that, it's 60 basis points higher than the Q1 number. A clear turnaround in the growth trajectory, and from here onwards, Q to Q is going to be in the same range or even higher.
Look, I pointed out the likely direction of possible source of underestimation, but one reason why one did not seek to quantify it is because precisely for this fact that it would give a misleading picture. There is still a considerable measure of uncertainty on the implementation and how smoothly people have adapted. The pace in which it has been adopted and return filing has been picking up quite rapidly. So this uncertainty should not stay for very long, but I'm not really at this point that close to the field level data on GST. You should be asking Finance Ministry about that. They'll be in a better position to tell you how rapid the implementation is. Because for these reasons, we thought we will not venture our head into what the likely dimensions of this are. And we've been cautious and this we had done earlier also, in staying with what can be defended quite comfortably. Insofar as trend reversal, yes, it is a trend reversal. It's quite a significant trend reversal in that sense. And I had pointed this expectation out even last time when I was releasing the first quarter estimate, that there was a long run cycle which, as it works its way out of the system, I would expect the overall dynamism to reassert itself and the growth pattern to return to more normal levels. And that is in some sense happening.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm Ashutosh from BTVI News Channel. So, in your opinion, has the GDP growth bottomed out, or is it more of restocking that is getting reflected in the numbers?
Insofar as restocking is concerned, I don't have a direct interaction with industry, but we do look at the advance estimates filed by companies as part of their obligations under stock market rule. From that, it doesn't appear as if inventory accumulation is a major source for the value addition. Please keep in mind that this quarter is the quarter in which a lot of production takes place for the festive season. So it is possible that remember I had hinted at this when I was talking about the first quarter estimate. Anticipation of GST meant people were delaying making the production for the festive season until the GST got launched. It's possible that anticipating the need for the festive season, most of the production actually went into a stale, and inventory restocking may happen later. So my reading of the corporate data suggests that this is actually principally for consumption and sales. Inventory accumulation effects may persist in the third quarter as well, because that's what the data seems to suggest.
This is Manoj from Economy India. Sir, my question is the growth in the manufacturing sector and the construction sector has come down in comparison to last year, though manufacturing growth is better than your Q2 growth rate. But the 70% component which comes from the private sector, their growth is more than 11%. and the government sector contribution in manufacturing has come down drastically. What do you see the main reason behind this?
I am not aware of the breakup of the manufacturing estimates between public and private, because at this stage, when we look at corporate filings, we do not separately estimate this for public sector of government-owned companies in any manner. So I don't know what that figure which you are talking about. Insofar as the manufacturing growth is concerned, it may be worth noting that yes, 7% is not as high as the numbers which we have seen in the past, but it's a increase coming after 2 quarters of decline, because last quarter was 1.2, the previous quarter was 5.3. So in that sense, manufacturing has now shown a revival. Part of the explanation is what I told you, that as the uncertainties relating to GST implementation have worn out and companies have started supplying post GST, manufacturing output has picked up. A second element is that there has been a pickup of capital goods production that has also shown up in the IIP figures. All of this is principally the reason for good numbers in manufacturing. Construction continues to be low, and at this stage, all that I can say about construction is it's indicator driven based on indicators of steel and cement, and those numbers have not been showing that higher growth, and that's what is showing up in the construction side.
So, yeah, please. After that.
So, just a clarification, has the unavailability of separate sales tax numbers led to some sort of an underestimation of July-September GDP growth?
Possibly. It is, since we have had to use a number of proxies for sales tax, and further the likely that the overall collections may be even larger than what we have estimated. It may be that when the revised estimates come in and when we are able to also analyze the GST data with the full filing details, we may be in a position to say that the numbers would be higher. But this is only a technical possibility. I don't have any basis statistically to estimate the likely magnitude of this. I'm only telling you what the directional feeling we get from the methods we have followed.
Sir, so the press release here only shows us the Q1 and the Q2 data for this year and last year. So has there been any revision in the Q4 data of last year or Q3? There have been no further revisions backwards?
No. Q4 numbers we presented in when we released the Q4 numbers. Those have not been subjected to any revision at the moment. They will be revised possibly when we present our revised estimates in January, because then but those details we will explain when we release the revised estimates at the end of January.
सर, 2 छोटे सवाल हैं। पहला तो ये कि क्या ये वो तिमाही है जब जीएसटी लागू हुआ था, तो एक तरीके से समझा जाए कि जीएसटी थोड़ा सेटल हुआ है और उसका असर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में देखने को मिल रहा है। और दूसरा मेरा सवाल ये है कि सेकंड क्वार्टर के बाद के 2 महीनों में मॉनसून थोड़ा सा बिगड़ गया था, जिसकी वजह से क्या ये हम समझे कि 3rd क्वार्टर और 4th क्वार्टर में भी एग्रीकल्चर पर थोड़ा सा बुरा असर पड़ेगा?
इसको मैं 2 तरह से बोलूँगा। एक तो आपने जो पहला सवाल जीएसटी पे पूछा वो सही है। ऐसा है, जब जीएसटी लागू होने वाला था हमने तब भी कहा था कि जो व्यवसाय जिनको मालूम है कि जीएसटी आने वाला है, उनको इस वजह से उन्होंने अपने जो प्रोडक्शन डिसीजन है उसमें फेरबदल करा, क्योंकि वो चाहते थे कि जितना ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन जीएसटी लागू होने के बाद हो सके। तो ये पहली तिमाही में देखा गया था कि कंपनीज ने अपना प्रोडक्शन रोक के अपने स्टॉक्स खाली कर दिए थे और इंतजार कर रहे थे कि जीएसटी लागू हो जाए। कुछ हद तक वो हो गया है, जीएसटी लागू हो गया है और उसकी वजह से कंपनीज का प्रोडक्शन बढ़ गया है। पर मेरे को अभी ऐसा नहीं लगता कि जो स्टॉक्स ये लोग नॉर्मली मेंटेन करते हैं वो पूरा का पूरा रिस्टोर हुआ है, क्योंकि जो अक्टूबर से तिमाही शुरू होती है उसमें हमारे यहाँ सबसे ज्यादा सेल्स होती है फेस्टिवल सीजन करके, तो अभी तक जो आंकड़े आए हैं कंपनी के एडवांस एस्टिमेट, उससे ऐसा लगता है कि ज्यादातर प्रोडक्शन सेल के लिए था, अभी तक स्टॉक रीबिल्डिंग शायद पूरा नहीं हुआ है, तो इसलिए ये बेनिफिट शायद अगले क्वार्टर तक ऑल्सो चलने को दिखेगा, क्योंकि वो लोग रीस्टॉकिंग भी करेंगे एज अ कॉन्सिक्वेंस। एग्रीकल्चर का मॉनसून का आउटपुट पे कितना इफेक्ट पड़ेगा ये कहना मुश्किल है। कुछ हद तक तो एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री के जो एडवांस एस्टिमेट है, उन्होंने पिछले साल के तुलना में इस साल का एस्टिमेट कम दिखाया है। अब बाकी क्योंकि उसके बाद नॉर्थ ईस्ट मानसून का इफेक्ट सदर्न इंडिया में क्या पड़ा वो भी देखना पड़ेगा, और उसके साथ क्या क्या कॉम्पनसेशन हो सकता है फार्मर्स इरिगेशन ये सब यूज करके। तो ओवरऑल इम्पैक्ट पिछले साल के एक्सपेक्टेशन जो आपने एग्रीकल्चर मिनिस्ट्री के फर्स्ट एडवांस में है कि पिछले साल के मुताबिक आउटपुट कम होगा, पर ओवरऑल जीडीपी में कितना फर्क पड़ेगा इससे ज्यादा कहना मुश्किल है।
सर, आपने कहा कि अभी इस क्वार्टर में जो प्रोडक्शन हुए हैं मोस्टली कंजम्पशन के लिए हुआ था, स्टॉकिंग के लिए बहुत अभी नहीं शुरू हुआ था, तो ये माना जाए कि नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर में स्टॉकिंग के लिए जब प्रोडक्शन होगा तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में ग्रोथ और ज़्यादा देखने को मिल सकती है। और दूसरी चीज़ की कंस्ट्रक्शन में सीमेंट एक सेक्टर है जहाँ पे 3.4% के मुकाबले -0.4% देखने को मिला है। क्या ये जीएसटी के बहुत ही हायर रेट की वजह से इसका असर कह सकते हैं?
देखिए, सीमेंट में किस कारण से कम है ये कहना मेरे लिए मुश्किल होगा। आप यदि देखेंगे तो हमारा रियल एस्टेट और कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर पिछले साल भर से कुछ ज्यादा से धीमे चल रहा है। इसका कारण कुछ हद तक रियल एस्टेट सेक्टर के रीस्ट्रक्चरिंग के बारे में मैंने पहले भी टिप्पणी करी थी, क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर हमने रियल एस्टेट रेगुलेटरी एक्ट पारित करा था और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट्स उसको फेज्ड मैनर में इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं कई जगह। जैसे जैसे मेजर कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनीज उसको अडॉप्ट करके अपने उसके साथ लाइन में ले आती हैं, कंस्ट्रक्शन एक्टिविटी में पिकअप होगा, पर ये स्लो डाउन कुछ हद तक दिखने को मिल रहा है। मैं इतना कह दूं कि जो कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन के एस्टिमेट्स हैं उसमें भी ये दिखता है, और गवर्नमेंट अकाउंट पे कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर फेयरली हेल्दी दिखता है। इनफैक्ट क्वार्टरली एस्टिमेट्स में नहीं है, बट पुराने पिछले साल के एस्टिमेट्स को ध्यान से देखेंगे तो गवर्नमेंट कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन, गवर्नमेंट एक्सपेंडिचर रोबस्ट रहा है। ये प्राइवेट अकाउंट पे जो कंस्ट्रक्शन है और कैपिटल फॉर्मेशन है वो अभी भी लो दिख रहा है।
Impact of demonetization on various sectors, particularly agriculture.
You know, I've answered this question in the past. Personally, it's my judgment is that what the impact of demonetization was would be very hard to read from many of these numbers. By and large, demonetization was simply a policy of withdrawal of currency and replacement, which led to a temporary shortage of currency in circulation with the public. However, normal trading practices and a lot of trade in India, particularly in agriculture and in the informal sector, is based on relationship-based trading. In these elements, because of relationship networks, cash transactions can be also substituted with informal credit. My suspicion is that a lot of the claims of the impact of demonetization therefore have been overstated because they have simply not accounted for the presence of such relationship borrowing and lending, which is also present in agriculture, about which there is an extensive literature in India.
Yeah, last one.
सवाल मेरे पास ये है कि एक्स फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर पी चिदम्बरम ने ट्वीट किया है और कहा है कि जुलाई सितंबर में जो ग्रोथ आया है उससे वो काफ़ी खुश हैं, और उन्होंने अगली लाइन लिखी है कि ये पॉज है डिक्लाइनिंग ट्रेंड में। तो ये पॉज बटन कब हटेगा, ऐसा कुछ अंदेशा है क्या?
देखिए, ऐसा है, these questions I will not like to react to. My personal feeling is that I had explained the reasons for the decline and the structural factors which were there behind the longer sun cycle of decline. I talked in terms of the commodity price movement, the fact that petroleum prices had crashed in 14-15, the subsequent reversal in trend in petroleum prices, etc., had a natural consequences in GDP estimation. I think that decline has now worked its way out of the system, and what you're going to see are current trends continuing, and the growth will take place based on other events which will take place in current structures.
So we will conclude the press conference. I thank the Secretary and his team for his time and presence here. Friends, thank you also. We have made some arrangements for tea on the 4th floor. Please join us. Thank you all.